All right, welcome to the Nerd BS podcast, where the BS stands for backstory. This is the Nerd Backstory podcast because we like to give the backstory to our nerd lives, the nerd things that are in it, and everything attached to it. My name is Kyle, and of course, with me is the amazing Alan.
Hey, you don't usually come to me first. This is weird. Caught me off guard. I'm here, ready to talk about some nerdy crap.
And the titulating Tomas as well.
Flourish. Anyways, yeah, I'm here, and apparently I'm titulating. So here we go.
Get used to it, bud. It is April 1st as of this recording, and instead of making a fake Nerd BS opening like I usually do, I decided we won't be doing tricks today. So, happy April Fool's Day, you guys. Hopefully, the favors are ever in your side. Anyways, this is the BS podcast. We got lots of stuff we want to talk about today. But before we get there, Alan, if someone wants to reach out to us and say hello, where can they do that at?
Well, we got an email, a Twitter, and my personal Twitter, and YouTube. All of the information, though, is in the information of the podcast or on the YouTube video. Just go down and the little description, and it should be all there. Check us out and join our Discord where we talk about things. We've got a nice little growing community happening, and we talk about all this stuff and much more that doesn't make it on the show.
There is so much more. It's pretty nice to have that just to throw like updates at each other with and talk about things. So it's like Nerd BS Plus. You know how all the new apps, all the streaming apps are just called Plus. That's
There you go. Yeah.
that's what our Discord is like. You get all the extra stuff.
The good thing for you is it's free, so you don't have to worry about paying an extra subscription like with all the others crazy services.
Okay, am I crazy or did Microsoft buy Discord though recently? Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah, it's in discussion. There's like an eight billion dollar, I think is what I'm hearing, purchase price that may be happening with Discord. It's a pretty crazy thing going on, which we don't know what that's going to entail. But
That's a big number.
knowing Microsoft, they'll probably screw it up. So let's see.
What do you mean? Like screw up the deal or screw up Discord?
No, no. They've purchased some things in the past and built some things that have been doing pretty terrible, especially with the gaming community. For example, Skype has been kind of destroyed. It barely exists anymore. It's kind of converted into something else. Another example is Mixer, which was a streaming service to combat with Twitch, and that's now gone. So I mean, who knows?
But maybe Microsoft didn't intend to keep those things going at all, anyways.
Yeah, maybe they just bought them so there wouldn't be any competition.
But they made it look like we're gonna keep you going.
We're gonna try, but no, we don't really want to try. The thing that I would be excited for, at least with it, is I'm hoping that Discord will work more steadily, because there are also things that Microsoft touches and it does a good job. It's not so bad all the time.
That's true. We've had a couple problems.
Yeah, it's possible that it goes well, and I hope it does, because Discord's a really nice service, and I really like using it, and I really would hate for it to go away at the condition it's at right now.
Yeah, there are some things could get better that we've struggled with. We used to try to record on there, and it wasn't really working. But yeah, I mean the deal hasn't gone through, and I'd be surprised. Like, does Microsoft really have that kind of just chump change? Because they just bought Bethesda not that long ago for $8.5 billion.
I honestly don't think it's out of Microsoft's wheelhouse. They have so much money. They just miss it on top for a while.
That's so much. Anyways, I hope it works out for the best.
Well, also you have to remember that's probably Discord's asking price, which is probably not what it's going to go for.
I see. So, like when you try to sell a car.
I mean, that would be my assumption. I haven't read the thing, but I would assume that Discord would be smart enough to start high and bid around. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that would be smart. All that to say, get on the Discord before anything crazy happens, so we can chat about things. Let's get into this week's stories. The first one being the Zack Snyder cut, or the Just Snyder cut, as they're calling it, for the Justice League. Came out on HBO Max, and it was an endeavor. You had to really plan out watching this puppy.
So how long is it officially? Because you two have seen it. I surprisingly, I know, have not
It
seen
is
it.
very surprising that you have not seen it. It's over 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
It clocks in over 4. So yeah, I'll start with it by saying I I liked it. I actually had fun with this movie.
Hmm.
Now to call it a movie at that length is literally a stretch, in my opinion. But I actually had fun watching this movie. I actually had to go back because it's like a whole different movie. Now, mind you, I watched the original in theaters. I was super stoked about it. There's when watching the Snyder cut, there was things where I go, "Oh yeah, I remember this scene," and then there's a lot of it where I was like, "Okay, this has to be new, right? This is new." And the first thing that jumped out at me that I liked was Steppenwolf's armor, just the way his whole look. They completely changed him, which I guess is somewhat easy because he was 100% CGI'd. I just thought he looks 10 times better.
So when you say they changed his armor, because I didn't really have a problem with how Steppenwolf looked. I had a
Oh, I
problem with
did.
other things.
I I, I thought he looked terrible before.
But like when you say they changed his armor,
Well, they changed everything, like his whole character model. So his armor before, I guess it was just kind of it. I don't know how to describe it before, but the new stuff he got was like a living armor that like could move on its own. So there was a scene where the armor actually like caught arrows in between the spikes of it, and then it just snapped the arrows, and it was like, and it looked like that the destroyer from the Thor movie,
okay, yeah.
like but like with some more personality.
Now is I've never I don't know much about Steppenwolf from DC. You guys might know more. Is that more accurate to his comic book character?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't
Alright.
read I haven't read any about
Well,
Steppenwolf, but
fans, let us know in the comments
yeah,
if that's more accurate because I'm curious about that.
yeah, that's a good question. I just thought it was way better. It was just like the first one was cringy and hard to just look at, and this one was, I thought, way cooler.
All right, I'll go. I want to hear your opinion.
I actually okay. So I did really enjoy the movie. I watched it twice.
Whoa!
I watched it the first time, and then I watched it in black and white.
Wow.
Uh,
But you liked it that much to watch, and was it back to back?
no. So some backstory with this. This has happened to me on multiple movies. A good example, and the most recent example, is The Last Jedi. Um, I did the same thing with that. I left the movie theater questioning if I enjoyed it or not, because of the so many weird flaws and issues I had with it. This was very similar, where I watched it the first time with my family, and I was questioning if I even enjoyed it, and I actually figured out why. I had those issues the second time I watched it. But the second time I watched it in black and white, it made a lot more sense in the sense that the movie itself is much darker than the original cut, and I don't really like that. I feel like it was too dark, and it was really hard to see things, and it bothered me how dark everything was. Uh, but in black and white, it made sense. Like it can be dark.
Hmm.
It's fine because it's black and white. You don't have to worry about the colors and that. The colors don't matter
Mhm.
anymore. So you're just watching the film as it is, and without the colors, which helped the movie immensely. While watching it in black and white, it made everything seem better, and
Hmm.
because of that, I actually grew more attached to it for that sense, and enjoying it. While I did still have some issues, there's some weird little Snyder stuff that he does, and it's definitely not perfect in any manner of speaking. But overall, I actually really enjoyed this movie. I mean, I could go over some negatives if you'd like, but
Well,
but so far, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
yeah. Let's before we go there, let's talk about the stuff that we did like, and then we'll do the criticisms.
Yeah, let me hear the good stuff first.
I'll start if you don't mind. I'll start with one, and you can go with one, Kyle, if I don't steal
Yeah,
yours.
that sounds good.
I think the best thing about this movie, 100% Cyborg.
Hmm.
Cyborg went from a character I barely knew was in the movie, the side character that did a couple things here and there, but you didn't know anything about him besides the little bit they told you, to the almost the character you cared about the most. I mean, this character, like I said, he was nobody really cared about him in the first cut, but now it almost it revolved around him in the story. I mean, it was amazing, and they did a great job with him in the sense that not only he looked good, but also okay, so in Teen Titans and in other things I've seen Cyborg in, he's always been very human. But in this movie, they did a really good job at making him robotic. I mean, he it's almost like he's struggling with his humanity. It's really interesting that how back and even when his movements and anything, that he has some very subtle uh, like jerks and stuff that are very robotic that come and go, and it definitely it really made me care about him more as a character, with that struggle of being figuring out if of his identity essentially. To be honest, that was like probably the best part of the movie in the whole of the movie because he was the character I cared about the most, which it made me even more sad that supposedly the actor is not planning on working with Warner Brothers at this time. So that's upsetting. But still, that was probably the best thing that they improved upon in this cut. What about you, Kyle?
Yeah, yeah, that I would agree with that, and then I can't argue that that was probably the best character change because he was the main thing, and it became like centered around his choices. Because when he is revealed, so to speak, when his dad tells him like everything he could do, one of the things is like launch all the nuclear missiles whenever in the world because he can connect to any computer. And so, like you're talking about struggling with his humanity, obviously, right off the bat, it's like, well, no other human can do that. And yeah, it was a really good story arc, really good. And one that I liked on that same note is that they changed the Flash's story a little bit, and in the regards of that he actually did something at the end of the movie. Before it was he just had to save like a random family.
Yeah, he pushes one car to safety.
Yeah, and so in this one, he's a critical part of the team that they need him to do something, and like everything kind of relies on him doing this one thing really right, generating electricity. I won't reveal too much, even though it's out. We've seen it, but the Snyder Cut is a whole different movie. If I'm being honest, it is. I was very surprised how different it is. And there was things that were still in there, like when Superman comes back to life. That's still one of my favorite scenes. Is when the Flash realizes Superman is just as fast as him, if not faster.
I almost would say that's like that's the best fight scene in the movie is when the rest of the Justice League has to fight Superman. It is so good and so well done. And yeah, that specific moment where they're fighting and the Flash is like, it looks like he's like in this moment where he's like, I'm going to flank him. Like, they got him right here.
Yeah,
They're distracting him. I'm just going to fly around. And the second you see Superman just move his eyes to watch him, you're just like, holy crap, it's Superman. What are you going to do? And he just,
right. And it's that moment of tension where it's like, wait, is Superman with us? Well, he's fighting us. Is what's happening? So, and like it finally tied back that really weird scene I think in Batman v Superman when the Flash goes back in time to like it actually ties that back to that scene where he tells Batman that Lois Lane is a key, and I was like, oh yeah, and so I just like it was very a lot of good points.
You brought up Flash, and so I'm going to ask, how did you feel about the character itself? I know they did a lot of good things with the character, but Ezra Miller playing the Flash, like, how did you feel about his portrayal?
Yeah, so it's not really like the Barry Allen that I'm familiar with. It's a very still much origin story of Barry Allen. He's a little bit more skittish than I remember, but I thought it was fine. Like if you kind of, I don't really have a big attachment to Flash as a character, and so it's like whatever, take those liberties. Do well, I mean, I don't think Batfleck is Batman, so
Oh well, I actually enjoy Ben Affleck as Batman quite a bit.
that's good.
Especially in this movie, they really portray him very well. But the reason I brought the Esmeralda thing is because the first time I watched the movie, he actually bothered me quite a bit. The things he did was great, the character did, but him playing the character bothered me because of how skittish he was. Like, this is not the Barry Allen I'm used to. And I even put it because I took notes the second time I watched it. And once the Flash is back on screen, because it takes a minute before we get to
Yeah,
Flash. And when we do get to Flash, I was just kind of like rolling my eyes, like, oh my, here we go, waiting for this to see this character's portrayal again. And at first it was that way, but for some reason, the second time I watched it, he grew on me. And I think the biggest issue is with him is he doesn't have anybody to spitball off of, and that's just like he's the only comic relief, and it bothered me for the simple fact because we have Aquaman, who in the Aquaman movie, he's more down to earth, and so he would have been a perfect character to do some like they tried with Cyborg, but Cyborg was on his own level right now. Cyborg is not in the mood to be spitballing with somebody. He's like he's dealing with his own problems. I think Aquaman would have been a nice person to, be that, charismatic counterpart for with him. And they tried, but I feel like they didn't do it enough. And I think that was the problem with the first time. The second time, like I said, he did grow on me, and I really enjoyed his character, uh, and to that extent.
yeah, he actually had some meaning, and there's like an actual story arc there with his dad and everything. Like that was so much better than I don't even
hmm
remember what happened in the original.
I thought about going to watch it, but I was like, do I really want to?
No,
And I instead just watched it a second time. So
I just read up on the differences because yeah, I wanted to as well, but I was like, nah, I'm sure someone's already compared it.
Red Letter Media, if you really want a good breakdown of it, they do a really good job of the breaking down that because like with Rise of Skywalker, not Rise of Skywalker, not that one, Last Jedi. Because I wanted to like it so bad, I did a lot of research before watching it again, and it helps with some perspective on some things. And that was a good one. Red Letter Media was a good one.
So let's do a couple things that maybe we didn't like about it. I guess going back to that fight scene that I would agree is probably the best fight scene when Superman comes back and they're all fighting him except for Batman, and Batman just walks out from like behind a car doing I don't know what he was doing and does nothing. That I mean I don't know if that was different than the original cut, but I was very like Batman has a backup to backup plan, right? Like what's the plan here? And then I don't even know if he had a plan. Maybe I think he was just I guess he was banking all on Superman so much to the point where it's like, well, if Superman's going to kill me, then if Superman's not with us, then we might as well all die now. So that part, that one specific part, I didn't understand. Like, wait, he doesn't have some contingency plan, or maybe he was just holding out. I don't know.
For me, there actually I have a list of things that I could go
Oh
through,
boy.
but I'm going to go through just a couple uh, that I had issues with. The ones I have big issues with. There's little stuff here and there that kind of bothered me, but nothing that was that big of a deal. But one of the big ones that bother me, and this is in the middle of the movie, is the Martha and Lois scene where they're talking to each other. I loved that scene. I thought it was very lovely, and it really got you some deep, character development between Lois and his mother, and like their sadness about Clark being gone,
Right.
and how to go on with their life with dealing with, they know he's Superman, but not everybody did, and so they have to deal with this like they don't really know him like we did. And it was really touching until she leaves the room and it's Martian Manhunter.
Which is
And I'm
cool.
just like, which is cool he's there, but it just ruined the whole scene. I was like, are you, what? Why? Why now?
It was a really, really hard like right turn of like, whoa, okay. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't her. Yeah, I was surprised that Lois Lane didn't bug me because that Lois Lane in particular usually bugs me. But you're right. Like that scene was cool, and then it was like, oh, but it was Martian Manhunter. Okay.
Yeah. It was just really bizarre that
Do
I
they
was
ever connect that as why he's there? And
kinda later on.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, that's part of one of the things that probably wasn't they weren't able to fully fix.
But he still didn't need to be there. Yeah. I think that would have been fine without him there. It's like they were trying to spice it up. It's like it's too much drama. We've been away from the superheroes too long, so we gotta do this reveal.
Well, yeah, I would agree, and almost like they wanted to shoehorn him in there, which it does connect when he comes in later to talk to Bruce Wayne. It's like, okay, he's been around this whole time, but why, but the question is, why didn't you show up when we were punching the crap out of Steppenwolf? Like, we could have used you. So,
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna do a light one. Bruce constantly telling people he's Batman, constantly throughout the movie. They're walking down the street with Aquaman, and he's talking about it. I'm like, what, what?
that bugged me too. I didn't understand it. They don't. I mean, if the reason was I'm retired and I don't really care anymore, then they need to have explained that a little bit better. But yeah, totally right.
well, it kind of goes back to Kyle's contingency plan thing. It doesn't sound like they portrayed Batman as Batman. They just kind of threw him in and said, "We want a normal person in here. We'll throw Batman in."
Right. Well, the whole thing is that Batman put the team together, so that was the contingency plan. But like you just said, Tomas, I don't. It's not so much Batfleck. It's just the some of the choices they made as
Sounds like the writers and creative leaders didn't really know what they were doing with him.
To another bigger one that we can discuss, probably Kyle. The amount of ending points in this movie is insane. Uh, I have like three right here. Like first of all, we could have cut before the epilogue. I think the epilogue was not necessary. It was interesting for part of it, but it was not It was not necessary. We could have cut it a beautiful scene of them all defeating them. That beautiful shot was perfect. I didn't think we need to go past that.
yes. Oh yeah, I totally agree.
The group shot. The next one was okay. If we really want to give a little epilogue to all the characters, that's fine. I was okay with that, and we could have ended with Clark Kent opening his shirt to show he's Superman. That would have been perfect.
Yeah. Again, yeah, great.
Great ending. But and then we get the freaking Lex Luthor scene that you just forgot about because why? Why is it there?
Oh, so yeah, Tomas. I don't know if you remember, but they redid the whole scene, but in the original, Deathstroke comes out of onto the boat with Lex Luthor, and they completely reshot the scene. It's almost the only difference is that Lex Luthor says he knows who Batman is.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't at this point?
Yeah, exactly. Like, wait, he kind of already announced it.
Yeah, from what Alan was saying, who doesn't? I mean, you just need to be standing around Bruce at some point in time, and you'll figure it out. Like,
So yeah, that was the end credits on the original movie, and now it's just like, okay, why did we even need this?
And like you just said with the dream sequence, that completely destroyed the ending of the movie.
You think so?
Yes.
although I will say this, my recollection from Snyder movies, and granted, I've watched Watchmen 300 and 302, which I do actually believe was him. I don't know what other movies he's done that I may have watched. I'm sure I've seen other ones, but that's kind of typical of Snyder to just kind of like give
Not
you
know when to end.
something, yeah, and not really give you a conclusion. Like think of how Watchmen ended.
Yeah, I haven't watched Watchmen in a while, but yeah, I could see what you're saying with that.
Yeah, I got the Return of the King vibes from that ending where it was like, wait, there's another ending
Yeah.
to like okay. When I saw Return of the King in theaters, this is Lord of the Rings. If you're not picking up on my vibe, when I literally like stood up 2 or 3 times, like, oh no, okay, okay, and then I even complained. I out loud was like, "Okay, wrap it up." It was just like so, and and that's my biggest complaint of the Snyder cut is that it's just too long.
Yeah.
Like as fun as it was, all the extra ending stuff.
Yeah.
But before we go too far off topic, let's talk about the Nightmare. Nightmare with a K is what they're calling it.
Oh, is that what they're calling it? I
Yeah,
haven't heard that. Uh, it wasn't terrible, but I think it would have been better if they would have left that for, like, an after credits scene, like, if it was really part of the movie, that would have probably been better, but because they put it on the movie, it was like, "We're already done, and now we're just why is this going on?" And as far as we know, they're actually not continuing the Snyderverse, this is like a one-time thing.
right.
Like, the Snyderverse is, like, ending, so
Yeah,
So this kind of brings me to a question though, is DC has consistently done well overseas, but consistently I feel like disappointed a lot of the hardcore fans.
that sounds about right. Yeah.
And from what I've been reading, at least, I haven't seen it, and a little bit from what I've heard from you guys, it sounds like Snyder, in many ways, brought this back to the fans. Like, hey, I'm gonna give you a good story here, a real story. Granted, it's 4 hours long, which which once again though just kind of feels like a Snyder thing to do. I mean, 300 was almost 3 hours.
Was it really?
302, yeah, 302 was 3 hours. Watchmen wasn't that close to 4 hours with all the
I think
extended
so.
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
when you
That
could
not
buy
even when
it.
that's not even including the pirate stuff that you got with the director's cut.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he's kind of known for that, so I give him slack in that department. So, do you think that if they kept Snyder, do you think that he could revitalize the DCU?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, I mean, like all those points you guys just said, I understand why this is as long as it is, right? Like this might be the last chance to do anything with this movie, with this universe that he created and was a big part of. And so let's slap on everything I can, right? And I think,
Mhm.
despite the couple gripes that at the end there were just too many things tacked on, like I totally agree with Alan. I do understand it. Like, these are the things I wanted. These all it could have been. This could have been a two-part movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think if you are going to watch it, just watch it like maybe two because they have what do they call it? They have
Yeah,
parts.
they did cut it into parts, so you can
Oh,
you
okay.
well, you can't decide to go to a specific part, but it in the movie, you can stop it at a part and go later if you
Mhm.
wanted to.
Right, which I would recommend. I would be curious what's that like because it'd be like watching it'd be like watching one of the current Marvel shows because it's there's like 8 parts.
And, Red Letter Media did a really good job at, they there's actually a really good part in the middle of the movie that you could easily end it and do a part 2. It could have been 2 films instead of 1, and maybe he just didn't have the option for that, for whatever reason, but it could have been 2.
Yeah, so yeah, and so I understand why you want to shove it all in there. I think I don't know if saved is the right word for this movie. Here, I'll give you my rating on it. Originally, this movie was a 4 out of 10 for me,
Mhm.
from what I recall. I just didn't really like it. I was kind of bummed out. Not memorable. This one, the Snyder Cut, is a 7 out of 10. It would have got another point if it wasn't so dang long. Like if I didn't have to watch it, I watched it in 2 parts, basically, just because I fell asleep. I just got too late. It was like past midnight, and it's like I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still got 2 hours. So it's a solid 7 out of 10 for me. Zack Snyder specifically going in. Your question is could he save the?
Could he save the DCU from what it's basically spiraling into, which is essentially just I feel like the DCU has essentially just become an action junkie's
Uh,
dream. Like, all it is just combat.
which I think is subpar.
Yeah, I would say no, he's not going to. And my big reasoning for this, or do I think he could? No. And my big reasoning is he already had control. He had control of Superman.
Mhm.
He had control of Batman v Superman. And I don't know about Suicide Squad. I don't think so.
Well, that's the one that won an Academy Award.
Yeah, exactly.
But didn't he have more control over this one than he had over any of his previous
Yes,
movies?
I did look it up a little bit, and apparently that was the time when he was constantly fighting with WB and the producers and other executives, and that's the reason why he stepped away and Joss Whedon took over. Was he had
Ooh.
a very big family emergency, and I'm not going to go over it here. You can look it up if you really want to. And he couldn't go on. Like he couldn't fight them anymore. He lost the drive. Like he was fighting them every step of the way, and he lost the drive because of this family emergency, and he left.
Which makes sense, honestly.
So
Right.
then they got Joss Whedon in, and they butchered his movie, basically.
Yeah. If this was the original, if any of this was the original idea, then I don't know. Whatever it turned into was awful.
I would agree with Kyle. I would actually been fighting over back and forth on 6 or 7 the first time I saw it, and the second time I actually bumped it up to a 7 or 8, but I'm going to go with the 8 after thinking about it for a
Nice.
while because of the black and white. Like I said, I highly recommend if you can stand the black and white. I highly recommend going into black and white.
I didn't even know there was a black and white. I
Yeah,
enjoyed the colors in this movie, like Flashes in particular
yeah,
was so
that's
like
true.
actually bright red. It was like I enjoyed it, but I didn't even know there was the black and white version.
Yeah, the Super Speed was really good, but the black and white, well, it just came out like recently. It came out after
Mm,
a little bit. Like it came out like this week or something.
okay,
It's like called Justice is Gray or something like that. I can't remember. It's weird. But because I wanted to watch it again after looking into a lot, I decided to go with that route, and I'm very happy I did because that is definitely uh, probably the better way to watch it. Um, how do you guys feel about? We didn't really talk about the 4:3 ratio. We haven't even brought it up.
Oh, because it didn't really bother me. At first, it was like a little off-putting, but after a while, I didn't even realize it was there because I have a semi-large TV. I mean,
Mhm.
probably
Yeah.
not even that big to today's standards, but yeah, after a while, I just forgot, and I even like when I turned the movie back on, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's the stupid bars thing."
Exactly. I forgot about it as well, while watching it, so it honestly didn't come to movie, but again, Red Letter did basically show that, and it got me looking through the entire movie, and I zoomed in for a bit, and basically,
Wow.
how you can switch to zoom on your TV?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did that for a little bit because I like the subtitles. I'm a subtitle person,
I'm just
so
picturing you standing there, Alan Gordon, like, "Enhance,
no, 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 no.
enhance."
I pressed the button on my TV. I went to the left, and it does zoom instead of full. So I did that just for a little bit, just to see if they were right, and they did do a couple scenes with it. And if you look at the movie, and I know he really wants to say this is the way he intended or whatever, but if you look at the movie and you actually press the zoom button, which basically just cuts it in and full screens it, but cuts off the top and the bottom slightly. And while you're watching it, Tomas, you'll notice that just look at the top of the bottom every once in a while. There's nothing there. Most of the time, there's nothing there. It's literally they would have just cut it off.
Mhm.
The only reason he did this was to fill up an IMAX screen, is what I'm
Oh.
starting to get, because IMAX screens are actually different. They're different size because of the way they're set up. Granted, most movies still do the normal, the rectangle
Mhm.
in an IMAX, but if you do make a movie that is that size, it can go use the entire screen. So I think that's
Oh,
what he was really going for.
okay.
That would be fun to watch in IMAX if there was a couple intermissions.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's intermissions, of course.
So, I mean, yeah, we pretty much agree that he probably couldn't save the DCU, but do you think that other movies should be given to him to be redone?
No.
So, I don't know. Like the thing is, there's a lot of questions that I have with that. while this movie got way better, in my opinion, because of that, it's probably not cost effective to make, redo movies this way, rather than just let's make a new one, try again. How many times can you reboot Spider-Man? But uh, I don't know so much if it's you have all the hindsight, right? You have all the feedback, you have all the fans voicing their opinion. So
Mhm.
it's one thing to have like an original cut that was scrapped, and it's another thing to hear all the feedback, go back and change things.
Mhm.
That being said, I don't know if I want Zack Snyder to redo things, but I think there's a few movies that certain creatives could go back and redo
Yeah.
that would be fun.
Director's cuts are always an option, and they don't like basically that's what this is. It seems like is a director's cut. Now they did
Mhm.
refilm stuff, and I don't know if
Right.
you noticed, Kyle, but I did notice there you can tell when they did a refilmed scene. It's subtle. Sometimes the CG is a little worse, and also because I don't want to be mean to Ben Affleck, but he didn't keep his shape that he had
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
original.
I did notice
So
that, yeah.
every once in a while he looks a little bloated, and that's why is because he's just not in Batman shape anymore. And that's not a
Yeah.
he's still in good shape. He's still in good shape, but he's just not in Batman shape, which is like insane.
Yeah.
Which he did get to for a lot of when he played Batman. He got to that insanity.
It's very hard to keep that
Oh
shape
yeah,
also.
that's one of Hugh Jackman's biggest like complaints about playing Wolverine was maintaining that physique.
Yeah.
Yeah, you complain about it in the moment, but you look back and you're like, "Oh, man, I was a stud."
True.
Um, yeah, they kinda cut off the universe, so Ben Affleck was like, "Well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna keep that physique,"
Yeah.
but yeah, I didn't notice that actually, and the reason why, which was gonna be my soapbox, was that, I had to cast it onto my Chromecast,
Oh.
downstairs because HBO Max doesn't have the app for my smart TV yet, which is just like,
Yeah.
"What? How is it not on there?" And so it eventually, like, I tried to watch the second half during the day, and the internet was not as fast, I guess, and it just was unwatchable, so I had to move upstairs to my smaller TV and,
A tidbit of advice for you in the future, Kyle, download the movie.
yeah, I just don't plan ahead, and
Yeah, I have
yeah,
to
you're right.
because of my internet, but,
Oh, yeah, you do.
it makes it like I was like 4K the entire movie, so I saw everything. I saw it all. Uh,
Okay, yeah. I'm just tired of that, man. I'm tired of popping a game in and having to wait,
oh, I
Yeah.
but
get it.
you gotta plan ahead, but you're right. Next time I will do that.
But I will say, while I did notice it in the black and white version, going back to praising that one, you don't notice it as much. It's because it's black and white, so it's easier to make CG not look better on that.
That does sound cool, like what they did with Logan.
Yeah, Logan in black and white was amazing as well. I always love watching him in black and white. So when they said it was a black and white, I was like, "All right."
You are an interesting creature, my friend. Just loving
There's
the black
something
and white.
about black and white, I'm telling you, there's something. It's just it makes a movie better sometimes. Not every movie can pull it off, but some movies can because they're set up that way, like Logan. Like the first season of Walking Dead, really good black and white as well, and this movie.
I really wish I had that passion for black and white like you do because honestly, it is true. There are some movies that I know, and I love movies, and there are some movies that I know that are just great, but because they're black and white, I can't stand them. Like Miracle.
Oh, at 34th Street?
Yeah.
Amazing
What?
movie.
Really? There's a color
I
version.
know there's a color version, and I can watch that one, and that's the
Okay.
only reason I know that story is phenomenal is because I could watch the color one.
Really?
Yeah, but the black
Wow.
and white, I just get so bored of them. I don't know why.
What about Sin City? You not like Sin City?
Sin City, I had flashes of interest mainly when the color came in. I was like, "Oh, this
When
is good
when
now."
somebody got shot and blood would
Yeah, or
come out?
blood or something. I mean, I won't lie, when what's her name got up on the bar, I got interested as well, but I mean,
Uh, of
that's
course,
just
yeah.
natural.
Yeah,
Oh, but I can't remember her name now.
I actually was thinking about that
Jessica
when I was
Alba.
watching in black and
Thank you.
white, that maybe it would have been interesting if they did something like that, but I felt that it wouldn't have been in the spirit of Justice League, because that's definitely a
Mhm.
Sin City thing, because even the comics, that's how they're designed. The comics are done that way, for that exact
Right.
reason, so it makes more sense for that universe. I did wanna turn around a little bit because we didn't finish it off. We had 2 F words in this movie I wanted to talk about for a second.
Oh yeah.
We had a cyborg said the F word, and then Batman said it at the end. How did you how did you like that?
Oh yeah. The whole nightmare
Which
sequence. Yeah.
also, did you notice that what is her name? The queen or the princess or whatever? Her
Mira.
accent was
Mira.
Scottish, like heavy Scottish.
Yeah, it was like an alternate universe,
Was
quote
that what it
unquote,
was? I
slash
didn't get that.
dream. Well, it was supposed to be what happened if Lois Lane didn't turn Superman back.
Oh, see, I was like I thought they're like trying to do the future or something. That's what I got out of it.
It was, yeah, but, well, because it was alluding to that part when Batman earlier in the movie was like, "No, I think it's something darker." Remember, he said that to Wonder Woman,
I didn't even think, yeah, now that's clicking because that makes sense. Because Flash came back, he
right?
said that Lois is the key. I didn't
Yeah.
yeah, even another layer.
So yeah, like I like that aspect of it. But yeah, that whole, yeah, her accent was really heavy, and then of course the Joker was there, which I can't do that Joker. I can't.
It was not good. I hate his laugh. He was bothering
Which
me
is
the entire
maybe
time.
maybe the point. It's like, oh, I just can't
Yeah,
have that guy around.
So do you guys not like the actor's portrayal, or do you think it's the writing?
actor's portrayal, probably, to be
Yeah,
honest,
I
over
think
everything.
Jared Leto just tried to be very different, and
Here's my thing about the Joker, honestly. When I first saw Jared Leto portray it, I was a little like, I don't know about this, but like I said, when Heath Ledger did his Joker at first, I was like, no, that guy is not going to be Joker, and then he turned out to be great. I'm not saying that Jared Leto turned out to be great by all means, but I am saying that I actually like that Jared Leto took a very iconic character and made it his own.
yeah,
I don't really like his Joker, but I like that he made it
yeah, I
his
I
own.
get you.
I actually Yeah, I actually don't mind I guess it would be, what would you call it? The Suicide Squad Joker at this point. Uh, I don't mind him. He's actually fine. He's a little wacky and he's definitely different. I don't mind him. This is not that Joker.
Okay.
This is a new Joker that is done by the same guy,
But a
but
different
acts a little
style.
differently. Yeah, it's like, I don't think it's the same. Maybe I could be wrong, but he didn't have the damage tattoo and all that stuff.
I thought it was, but it was just in the post-apocalyptic world, so this was like a toned down version of that Joker. Maybe if they had actually given him a chance and had more than like 15 minutes in a movie, like I
Yeah.
could give an opinion, but just a few scenes he's in to me is like it's a little out of place.
And this seemed tagged on as well, like, we didn't need him there. I mean, he wasn't in the movie anywhere else, so it's, like,
Mhm.
really weird that he was there. Um, Unless you got something else you wanna say about the dream sequence, Kyle, I wanted to finish off with
No,
something.
I'm good.
Okay, so I just wanna wrap it up with the final ending, the final ending,
Oh yeah,
with,
gosh, that wasn't even the
bloated,
end.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, I
goodness.
know! Batfleck wakes up, a bit bloated. He's probably been drinking for a while, and he definitely doesn't have his arms anymore. I noticed that too. His arms
Yeah.
are like way smaller than they were. I hate body shaming him, but it's just like just a different person at this
Yeah.
point. But yeah, then he walks outside, and that's when we see Martian Manhunter. And I want to bring that because Tomas brought up, do you see him again?
Mhm.
And this is where you see Martian Manhunter, and he basically says, "There's something else coming," or what is the anti-life? Is what it is? The anti-life.
Yeah, it's still in the earth, the, like, recipe for it, I guess, like, yeah. So Darkseid's still interested
I
in
was gonna
Earth.
say, well, that's leading for Darkseid, right?
Yeah, so now it's a cliffhanger essentially.
We didn't even talk about that, like, the fact that he's in it and in it quite a bit was really cool,
Mhm.
Darkseid. Like, he was in it a lot.
I did we missed the Green Lantern thing too. Oh my goodness. There's too much. It's
Oh
too
yeah,
much of a movie.
they threw it. There is a Green Lantern
Huh.
in this movie.
I love when they said it too. They're like, and then the people from the stars came and helped us, and this is one guy.
Is it Ryan Reynolds?
It's like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
here.
not. No, it's like a random
Yeah.
alien one of the
Oh, okay.
guys from the Corps. But it was like they're right, Alan. There was so much that I totally forgot about that, which was a
Uh-huh.
really cool
Yeah,
scene.
it was.
Like that was so cool that they threw that in
That
there.
was one of the few things in the black and white edition I will say was kind of better in the color because there's not a lot of bright color in this movie, but that was very green when he was around.
Yeah, see, it sounds like Snyder did a lot of justice for the old fans, and that's why I kind of feel like I don't feel like he should have access to all the DC movies because I feel like Wonder Woman did a good job on her own in the first one at least. Aquaman did a good job on its own, but I feel like he could have, if he had just had more freedom, he could have just it made the other ones just so much more solid. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a very solid possibility, and if they decide to carry on with the Snyderverse, I would be okay if they actually took the time, which they seem to be have that, but I think we're already past that because now we have The Batman, and The Batman is coming out, and The Batman looks very good, and I actually hate saying The Batman, but I think that's what it's called. Isn't it The Batman?
the
Yeah,
movie.
the new movie, isn't it The Batman?
That's a good question.
I don't know. But anyways, I'm just saying I think we've moved on, and I think that's probably for the best. It might be just best to live and learn. Uh,
almost,
although
yeah.
there has been a lot of buzz about possibilities, so who knows?
Yeah, honestly, we could just keep going, but yeah, we need to move on.
Yeah, um, we'll see. I I thought it was a good change. So let's change subjects here because this turned into a Snyder Cut cast. Um,
Tell me about it.
it really there's so much more we could talk about too, but
Definitely.
yeah, let's move on. Alan, you were the only one that watched this movie, so why don't you talk about it?
Oh, yeah, Godzilla versus King Kong. It came out yesterday. I actually watched the 3 previous movies during upcoming to it, with my family. We all got really pumped for this movie coming out, and I got really excited because I never saw Skull Island, uh,
Yeah,
until
me neither.
recently, and I highly recommend it. It's actually probably my favorite out of the 3, because of how colorful it is.
I actually didn't realize that Skull Island was attached to the Godzillas, and I really liked Skull Island, and I would say so far I liked Skull Island the best.
You saw Godzilla versus King Kong?
No, I haven't seen that one yet though, so I don't know if it's the best
Oh,
best.
okay. Alright. Okay. So you'll actually you'll like that one a lot. I know you will. I know you both will. It's really fun. Um, I'm surprised you didn't know that they were connected because at the end of King Kong Skull Island, they actually tease Godzilla. So they're actually all connected in that sense. And it's also, whatever that company is, Monarch is the same company through all of them. Any doesn't matter. The point is Godzilla versus King Kong is amazing, and it's isolated enough because I was telling Kyle you don't need to watch the other ones. It's a little bit of convoluted and it's whatever, but they explain anything you need to know. The Godzilla ones, the biggest problems with them, in my opinion, is there's too much story. They're trying to do too much with the story, and the first one's the worst because Godzilla's barely in it, which actually frustrated me.
I remember watching that first one, and it was just like, "Fight!" And you'd be like, "Alright, let's watch it," and they'd go, "Now let's watch people on the train." Like, "Oh!"
Yeah, when they move and you could see it on the TV in the background, that was the worst part. It's like, I wanna watch that, not you guys. I wanna watch that. Go back. But anyways, so another thing in the Godzilla ones that's really crappy is, it's always cloudy or rainy or dark, and you can barely see the monsters, and it makes some cool effects when they get all flashy, but that's about it. This one, oh my goodness, watching them fight in the daylight in Hong Kong with freaking King Kong and Godzilla going at it, and Godzilla is, like, sped up. He is so much faster in this one than he is in the other one. They got him on freaking some sort of drug or something because he is fast. I was surprised how fast he was compared to the other ones. It is an intense fight, and there's even a little bonus for us Godzilla fans in there. You'll see that's a big part of the movie, so I'm not going to give it away. But I think you guys will really dig it when you guys get there. But it's just fun. There's so much fight scenes. They finally decided to just put those human characters. The story is good enough, but we want the fight scenes, and they give us the fight scenes, and they are amazing. And King Kong as relatable and as emotionally like there as he ever is, and you can see in his eyes, and you're just like, oh man. And Godzilla is basically the villain, which is amazing because he's a great villain.
Yeah, but he's been the hero in the past few.
Yeah, so this has been like it is really cool to see him like he's just being a villain, and you got King Kong's like the good guy. It's just there's like a whole monster verse within it because this is their monster verse, and there's like a monster verse. It's really interesting. I highly recommend go watching it. And like I said, the story itself is it's fine, but what you're there for is what you're gonna get. Freaking monsters fighting monsters, and Godzilla versus King Kong is just that, and it's fun, and it's under 2 hours, which is what's really nice and refreshing because it's not a freaking slog. Uh, I think the Godzillas are like an hour, 2 and 2.5 hours,
Hmm.
I think each of them, and then I think Skull Island's probably close to the 2 hour range, but still. But I don't remember, but this one's great. This one's these are the best of them
Hmm.
all, and it's amazing, and I hope we get more like
Hmm.
this, to be completely honest.
Yeah, they sound like a ton of fun. Just good old fashioned
Yeah.
monster
Yeah,
movies with modern graphics.
agreed. It's on HBO. You gotta get it go watch it quick, though. It's only on there for 30 days. And then I guess it's I don't know, I guess they're doing like Wonder Woman where they take it off and they put it in theaters or something crazy, I don't know.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out in theaters, I thought. I thought you actually went to theaters to saw it because I thought it was only coming out in theaters.
No, it's on HBO Max for 30 days, and then they'll take it off and they'll probably put it back later like what they're doing with Wonder Woman. It's a really convoluted system, but whatever.
Yeah, that's where we're at. You know what is coming out in theaters though? Mortal Kombat.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
Yeah.
what I'll probably
Like
watch
April
in theaters.
23rd, I'm so excited for that one too.
Yeah, that looks great.
Looks like good old fashioned get over here. So that'll be
Mhm.
fun. So why don't we get the video games on over here and start talking about some of those? It's April 1st, which means it's the day after the death of Mario.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Pour one out for the homie.
He was executed, right? That's what I kept hearing.
Yeah, they did it on Smash Brothers. They did a live stream of it and
Oh,
he
wow.
just he just imploded.
That's it.
He got sucked into a
Sonic
black hole.
he got his space. He gotta make his move.
Yeah, Luigi's coming up, is what I
Oh,
heard.
Yeah,
Luigi, he's
Luigi's
taking over
gotta
again? Getting another year of Luigi?
Yeah, oh yeah. I don't think anybody remembers the year of Luigi.
Oh, I remember it. There's so much green.
It was they did have a lot of good stuff that year. I
Yeah,
think
they
that was
did.
what Luigi Mansion, the third one
I
that came
think
out and all that.
so, yeah. I don't remember
Yeah, see, you
exactly.
don't even you
Yeah, I
don't
don't. I
remember.
remembered it happened. I remember it happened.
But the real story here is that Nintendo has stopped the you can no longer purchase Super Mario 35 or download, I should say, Super Mario 35 or the All Stars game, which includes Galaxy Sunshine. I almost said Galaxy Choice. You can no longer download those. They took them off the eShop.
Yeah. You can still get it physically if you can find it. There's a lot of stores that have been buying up all the, stock, and there was
For
one
no
on,
reason.
Twitter, yeah, bought a whole stock, and they were, like, very specific that, we're not upselling, so you buy them at the right
Mhm.
price," or whatever, so I don't know. You probably find some for a little while.
I'd be surprised if those ever went up in price.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I was at Target today and stacks, stacks of them. It's like, all right,
I was still looking at it, and I think they're still $50 at Walmart, like, it's because the
yeah.
Walmart always does Switch games at $10 cheaper, and so they're still
I don't know how they. That's so crazy to me. How do you? Anyways, I don't mind it. I often buy games from there because of that.
exactly, it works. I buy all my Switch games through Walmart because it's $10 cheaper.
$10, dude. It's not 5, 10. So Yeah, I mean, plus those games have been out for years. Like, please, people, don't try to upsell this. There's no reason for it. But the bigger one, in my opinion, because I had no idea, honestly, until yesterday, and I saw someone on my Twitter feed, Kevin Kenson, actually, is the guy. He's a YouTuber. Mentioned that Fire Emblem, the original old school Fire Emblem, was also leaving the eShop for whatever reason. And this is the only way you can play it in English aside
From like
from
modding or something like that, or
yeah.
translations. But yeah, it's pretty insane because I did the same thing. I kept waiting on it as well because I was like, it's $6, but am I ever gonna play this old Nintendo game on my Switch?
Yeah, I
Uh,
want that $6.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, until I read that, I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that it was that exclusive." Now they do have that special package, but there's no physical game involved. It's a
No.
download code.
The codes will still be accessible though, they said that. So if you do get a copy with a code, it'll still work. It ain't going away.
Gosh, yeah, could you imagine, like, what
That
a
would've been terrible.
that would have been bad. I mean, there may never be a reason why Nintendo's doing this. Maybe just to drive up sales, maybe to pique interest for something upcoming. Maybe it's an April Fool's joke, and they're going to
I was
bring the
hoping
servers
that.
back up. But
Yeah.
no, they shut them down. It's a real thing. So hopefully that just means that they're moving on to something else involving Mario. Maybe Odyssey 2.
Yeah, I don't I'm assuming they're gonna get Odyssey too. I feel like we're gonna get another Odyssey. I feel like they have no drive to move away from the Switch. They've been talking about the Switch. I don't like calling it Pro anymore because it's really just a Switch HD. It sounds like more than anything. It's got a bigger screen, same
Super Switch.
resolution. Yeah, Super Switch. I actually love that. I keep hearing that one. Super Switch. I wanted to be called Super Switch because we lost the Super a long time ago. We need to bring it back. Uh,
Bring it back. Come on.
but Super Switch, the bigger screen, but it's not like from what I've understood, the technology is not technically better. It's just like can do 4K because the Switch technically can do 4K, I guess, from what I've understood. It's just nothing is ever taken advantage of it, or they can't
I
turn it on or
guess.
something. I don't know. But basically, there's going to be an updated version that's going to have a bigger screen, same resolution on the well portable, but being able to go to 4K on the TV. And I don't know if it's going to be the dock that does it because that was rumors a long time ago. With
That would be cool. I would love that because I don't want to buy another Switch.
same.
I don't like buying new consoles that I already own. Like even if it's a pro model, I
Hmm.
don't because I feel get like I'm getting ripped off. Even if you
Hmm.
trade it in, you're getting half. I don't like buying new stuff. So if it was a dock, I would love that. That would be cool.
Yeah, because they did stop selling the docks, right? They stopped making them. So
Hmm.
if you find them, they just because they have them for some reason.
I have 3 of them.
I do too, but only because I have 3 people in my house, all the Switches. That's the only reason I have 3.
Well, I went a little nuts, and I just have one in every room. So
Nice.
that's how crazy I am. It's actually really convenient though. Like even just not having to move it from upstairs to downstairs when people come over, it's yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, but I ended up picking up the Fire Emblem because it's $6, and I have FOMO, so I don't wanna lose it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play it, but I figured whatever. I don't know, it sounds like you picked it up too.
Picked what up?
Fire
Fire
Emblem.
Emblem.
Oh, sorry. We started talking about the Switch. My mistake. Yeah, I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it either, but I did pick it up.
Yeah, I couldn't resist. It's
Yes.
on the list. So yeah, Mario's dead, never coming back after 35 years. That's I am 35 years old. That's crazy. Oh man. Man, Mario, how are you jumping around like that, dude?
And I turned 35 this year. Yeah, I mean, man, I don't got moves like that anymore. I can't be going down toilets.
Going
Not
down
anymore?
toilet.
Not anymore.
That was the thing of yours.
When I was in my 20s, maybe I could flush myself, but not anymore, man.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Before we get too existential here, Tomas, I think there's a game that you were excited about.
So it is unfortunately, like they said, the death of Mario, but it's not the death of Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. So if you guys have played these games in the past, they've made 2 before. Um These games are designed to be much more action RPG than tabletop RPG style, like the other Dungeons and Dragons games that have come out. It's not turn based like the new Baldur's Gate. It's not anything like that, and it's supposedly not going to be a true sequel to 1 and 2. So you can play it without having to play the other 2 and still understand what's going on.
So this is related to the original Dark Alliance games? I thought this was just different.
If it is related, it's going to be a very muddled in how it's related. It's not 1 and 2 were apparently related right after each other, but this one is it's just being made by the same company essentially. So, it's not a true sequel.
Wait, it's the same company? That's pretty insane. I didn't know it's the
Yeah,
same company. I
they're
thought that
still
company was
around.
gone.
Yeah, I mean, according to what I'm reading here. If it turns out that that's not true,
Well, then we'll kick you off the show. It's no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
yeah, there we go. Put me in a corner. You can edit. That's what you do. You just edit.
Full time.
No, um, but it does look really cool and really fun, and actually, I think it will do a really good job of pulling in new players and new people because it's going to follow the Dritz der Uridin character, who a quite a few people have read. I don't know if Kyle has. I know Alan's read the comics, I believe.
Yeah, I have.
I've read some of the actual books and comics, so yeah. Uh, they're it's a great storyline. Um, I think it will be a really good game. It's supposedly going to have some new elements to it, but it isn't going to stray too far from the original. There is talk about the graphics maybe not being too great, but I don't know, from the pictures that I'm seeing here, it looks great. But it's true, the trailer didn't look too wonderful.
The reasoning why, in my opinion, the reasoning why the graphics are probably not at what you're used to is a 3D action game, style, third person. There we go, third person action game. But also they're at least when I saw it, I'm probably gonna get this wrong. I hope not. But when I saw it's couch co-op, which means it's gotta support
Yes.
that. Yeah, so when games support that, they sometimes have to sacrifice a little bit on the graphics to make it bit because when you're doing multiplayer like that, especially a game like that, which is probably gonna be split screen because of the way it's way you play it, it's not gonna work very well if you're using the same screen. You're basically running the game multiple times. So you gotta
Okay.
downgrade a little bit on the graphics to make that work.
Yeah, but that is another thing that I makes this game really exciting for me personally because I like playing games with my fiance. She likes playing games with me, so couch co-op is always great
Agreed.
for that.
It looks good. I love D&D, so I'm excited for another video game that's solid.
Yeah. You could have already said this, so I apologize if you did, but is this coming to consoles?
Yes, sorry. If I hadn't said this, I should have at the beginning. Yes, it's coming to consoles. I believe all consoles from what I was reading.
As in PS5 or
It is coming to PS4, yeah, so that's all I cared about.
Yeah, it's coming to PS4. It is coming to Xbox.
I think
So,
it's coming to all those consoles. I don't think Switch. I think it's the only one I didn't hear, but that doesn't mean it's not gonna come to Switch. That may just mean maybe later.
yeah. I haven't heard anything on something else that I look into on games a lot recently. I haven't heard anything on crossplay. Have you, Alan?
Oh, no, probably not. I wouldn't hold my breath. I haven't heard anything, though.
yeah, you gotta have that Fortnite money for that.
If it was a game like Avengers, like because it looks a lot like Marvel Avengers, which is why I'm excited for it. It
Mhm.
looks very similar. They're definitely not going for the live service, it sounds like. So that
Okay.
means that you're probably not gonna get that because 'cause they're not planning on milking this thing for all it's worth as far as I know. I mean,
Mhm.
that'd be amazing. I'd be completely down for them to keep adding content for something like this, but I don't know if that's the case.
Uh, that does sound really fun, actually. I had no idea that this was a thing. So, I'm looking forward to it now. Let's go on to the soapbox time. It's soapbox time. I'll kick things off, and I just want to get an update now. I know our last cast, or maybe it was a couple podcasts ago. Now, man, I can't even remember. But we I had asked if we'd all play Final Fantasy VII Remake and see how long we last. Now, I think since Tomas, you have not watched the Snyder Cut, that you actually had time to play this game. Alan has spent 8 hours of his life watching that movie, and so, well, I mean, more if you count the original cut. And
I didn't watch the original cut. I said,
Yeah.
I meant like total in your life and the grand scheme. Yeah,
oh, in my life, yeah. Oh, yeah.
let's not go down that road and count how many hours we've spent in. I haven't played Final Fantasy VII since beating that first part, the demo, essentially. And I guess Alan, you haven't really played it either.
No, unfortunately, I've been playing a lot of ESO. There's an event right now with double XP, so I've been milking that.
Every son, occasionally. Is that what that means? ESO.
Oh my goodness. No, Elder Scrolls Online.
I know. It still honestly takes me a second. Like ESO. I'm supposed to know this, and then now I do know. I just like giving you a hard time. I ended up beating Link's Awakening on the Switch, because here's my plan.
Oh, I almost busted that out. Yeah, I'm really curious about this. Sorry.
Yeah. I'll tell you why I didn't play Final Fantasy VII. My plan was the couch game was going to be Final Fantasy, and then if I wanted to play something before bed, I bring the Switch with me and lay in bed. And I that just turned into only playing the Switch in bed. As I looked at the couch, I was like, "Well, I got to boot up that old hunk of junk PS4. I got to put my headphones on, or I could just go lay down in my bed and play some sweet Link's Awakening." And I ended up beating it in like under 15 hours, I think.
Dang.
Yeah, it's a fun little Zelda game. It's a really good intro. Obviously, it was the first Game Boy Zelda game they made.
Yeah, the original was not that long either. I beat it on Game Boy Color a long time ago, but
Nice.
it's a solid game. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
The graphics look beautiful.
Yes, yeah, everything runs a lot smoother because I beat the original as well. It's a fun intro, I think, into Zelda, especially the old school Zeldas. It's a great starting point. It was, since I am a Zelda connoisseur, it felt a little lacking. Like there's some things like, oh, that's it, that's the puzzle, and I wasn't mad about it so much as just I guess I'm up for a bigger challenge these days. But for a low key laying in bed playing Zelda, that is a really good game. So I ended up getting through that, and I have not touched Final Fantasy VII since then. But Tomas, I guess you have.
Yeah, I've played it. I though have not played the original Final Fantasies, so I don't really know what has changed much. It's definitely fun. Like I had said to someone earlier, it's a little slow though in parts, and I feel like they could have just cut out all that stuff and then put more actual story on the disc.
What do you mean? Give me one example, and then we'll move on.
There's one part where you find Aerith, yeah, Aerith, in a
Hmm.
church, and you like save her from the church and everything, and it's great. But then to like get to your next location, you have to jump along these roofs, and she talks to you while you do it. And like when it first started, I was kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna walk out here. It's gonna cutscene me where I just watch myself jump along these roofs, and then I'm gonna be on the ground. But no, you had to jump every single roof on your own while you talk to her. And all she does is just, it's so annoying because she just goes like, it's essentially her asking you, "Are you mad? Why don't you want to talk to me?" And Cloud going, "Screw off. Like, I'm not talking to you." Like, and so it's a good like couple minutes on the roof. And it's just kind of like, man, you could have just cutscene this.
That's the thing though with games now. Like they're trying to add the story, like you're moving the character, like you're not just watching a movie cutscene, but you're walking and talking. That was a big thing in Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
And so, which, like you said, it's cool at first, but also I kind of just want to get to the action.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I was really curious on your thoughts about it because you haven't played the original. So I'd like I wanted all our perspectives because we all have a different experience with the original.
I mean, and there's a few places like that. So yeah, but it's not enough to make me quit the game because obviously I'm still playing it. It's just
Right.
yeah, it's just little annoyances that I'm just kind of like, ah, you have so many other cutscenes. Why couldn't we just cutscene this? Like,
Yeah, I'm still impressed that they put it on as the month or the game of the month
yeah,
because it's got it to me. The more I've thought about it, it's got to be a response to Game Pass. You know,
hmm
it's like because as a business model, it seems a little crazy. Like
hmm
you could essentially pay for 2 weeks and play premier games. You
hmm
know, like Halo or not Halo. Halo will be on there, I think, once it comes out. But Gears of War 5 came out, and it just launched on there when it did come out. You know, it's like so you could get a 2 week subscription, play that game, and be like, well, I paid whatever $10 for that. So
yeah,
you know, I like what Sony does. You know, it's not overwhelming. I know PlayStation Now is kind of the response to that, but
hmm
I I will get to Final Fantasy VII remake one day. Just not now.
yeah.
And on that note, I slide the soapbox over to you, Alan.
Oh, we're gonna do okay. Yeah, you want to do this now? Okay. I got the critical reviews game I made with some inspiration from an IGN podcast, but I've altered it slightly.
Oh, it's a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a game. That's
Well, look, I'm reading the notes. I thought there was a game called Critical Reviews. Why does it, Tomas? Why don't you do your soapbox?
All right. So mine won't take very long either. It's just a high recommendation for DOTA on Netflix. I don't know what DOTA stands for.
it's a what is it called? MOBA. It's a mobile battle arena.
I haven't seen a show with even animated dragons in a while since I guess Game of Thrones. And it's fun to watch dragons fighting again. That's always fun. But it is the story itself is also really interesting and fun. And I highly recommend it. Go watch it, and that's all I need for my soapbox.
Cool.
I'm curious because I had no interest in that because I knew it was about the MOBA and I don't like MOBAs. So
hmm
although the League of Legends like lore, my brother has tried to explain it to me in the past, and it sounds interesting. But Dota was like the Steam MOBA that they created, or somehow they got the rights. I don't know. And then League of Legends is like spin off of that. It's really weird.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
convoluted mess. Uh, but I'm curious to see what the lore is, but I can't play the game. Dota is like for more hardcore mobile players, from what I've understood, and League of Legends is like a little less so. That's what I've understood.
but even that seems like a hardcore game.
Yeah, it's too much for me, but that's just me.
Yeah, one of the things that actually caught me off guard was I was watching it, and there's first off, I there are some names in this that I just find to be perfect names. Like I'm like that is an awesome name. And there are some names in this that I'm like, really that's what you thought up? Like the big bad is called Doom Blades. Like that's literally his name is Doom Blades. It's not a title, it's his
It's got
name.
Doom in the name. I'm scared already.
Yeah. like, but then they have this really awesome, and I think it's a great name for a dragon. They have this dragon by the name of Slyrak. And it's actually played by a guy named Tony Todd. I don't know if you guys know him,
No,
but he did movies, older movies. Uh Actually the most recent one is one I've never seen, but he was in The Rock. He was in Crow. He was also in Candyman, which I
the
haven't
Crow.
seen. The Good Crow.
Yeah, the Brandon Lee one.
Yeah, Brandon Lee Crow.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Yeah, the Crow. Yeah, randomly.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't hear what you had said at first, and I thought you said the.
that's why I was like the Crow. I didn't know it was. I didn't know if there could be another Crow out there. I don't know. For all I know, I assume.
There's two sequels.
Oh God, they're both
Terrible.
Actually, they were on the list, Alan, for having Snyder take over them. For what they were a movie on the list that people wanted Snyder to do.
I could say okay, I'll say this. I think Snyder would probably do okay with The Crow because it's super dark and it's very, artistic. So, honestly, he would not be a terrible choice, is what I will say.
All I know is that when I was watching the show and I heard Slyrak talk, I was like, I know that voice. I've heard that actor's voice before. And apparently he doesn't do a lot of voice act. I don't think this is his first time voice acting, but he hasn't done it that much before. Tony Todd.
I'll have to check it out. I'm curious now that you said that, uh, that it's good, and I have Netflix, so might as well. Um, anyways, so we'll move on to my game I created. I created a game this week because I enjoyed Kyle's game so much last time. So I was like, "What we're gonna do? I'm gonna do one too." And I took
Cool.
part of somebody's idea and kind of molded it to myself. So it's from the IGN UK podcast. I did it once, and I liked the idea, and I just kind of changed a little bit. And since we talked a lot about movies today, I figured this would be more along the lines of video games, and we kind of moved to video games. But either way, so this is called Critical Review. The rules are simple. I will go back and I will go back and forth. Didn't even think about that.
Okay.
I'll just go back and forth. It's fine. And basically, the other person, it's like Price is Right. Okay, so you both get a chance.
All
Basically,
right.
then whoever's closer without going over will get the point. If you get the amount exactly, you'll get 2 points. Okay? I call it critical review. Like I said, Price is Right's rules. So, you both have heard of the website Metacritic, right?
Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay. So, on Metacritic, they have a critic score and a user score. So, the concept of this game is I will give you the title of the game and the meta score, and you have to give me the user score.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Does that make sense?
So I have to give you what people felt like it was.
Yes, what the users thought, not what the critics. So I'll give you the critic score.
Okay.
You can't go over. So it's Price is Right rules. You can't go over closest until, but not go over. And if you get exactly the amount, I will give you double points. So 2 points.
All right.
All right.
Let's start with the first one. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. This is the new one for Switch.
Okay. The Switch one. Yeah.
All right, so the meta score is an 89. I'll start with Tomas. What do you think the users gave that game?
Oh,
Ooh.
it's out of 100.
Yes.
No decimals, right?
No. There's technically decimals, but it's still out of 100, and so
I'm gonna say that the nostalgia kicked in, and they gave it at least a 90. I won't say they gave it 100, but a 90.
okay, 90. All right, Kyle, what would you say?
Ooh. So, yeah, this is where it's like, do they go higher or go lower? Um, I'll say they go lower. I said they gave it an 85.
All right, Kyle, you got on the money.
Ooh. They went lower.
They went lower.
Really?
There's 85.
Huh.
All right, next one.
Cha-ching.
This time we'll start with Kyle.
All right.
Marvel's Avengers for PS4
Oh
specifically.
gosh. Okay.
The meta score is a 67.
Okay. So, out of all the the 67?
67
That's the critics?
Mhm.
Oh baby.
critic score.
Man, okay, so all the drop frames that I experienced plus the on the online community divided by
The little bit of pleasure I had.
the slight amount of fun that I'll say 75.
75. Okay.
They went higher, yeah.
Tomas?
I'm gonna go that they had like a fit and were like, no, 40.
40?
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, Tomas. It is a 49, so you got it.
Oh,
They did have a fit.
they did hate it. Jeez.
Wow.
Wow.
I tried to choose stuff that we've talked about or anything before. So
Yeah, that is shocking.
That's still very surprising.
this is Neo 2, the complete edition.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh, for PC, not for. I couldn't find a good PS4 one, so I got
Right.
this for PC. So keep that in mind.
right.
The critic score is an 86. Tomas, I think you're first.
Even though I don't agree with most of the crap I've heard about it, I've heard some negative stuff about it. So I'm going to say that the fans took it a little lower and went 75.
75.
You said that the critic score was 86, you said?
86 for the critic score, yes.
Um, I think that the fans did love it on PC, and so they gave it just slightly 87.
So 87 from Kyle, and then what I get from Tomas again?
75.
All right. Well, neither of you get the points because it's a 63. You both went over.
Whoa, they went that. I knew that a lot of people were upset with it.
Based on 105 ratings, too. So
Jeez.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that one.
I knew that some people were upset with it because it is essentially just Neo 1 all over again.
Mhm.
But I loved Neo 1 so much that I bought this one and all the DLC, and I beat all but the last leg, and I'm trying to get the motivation to go up against that.
all right. So I got another one here, and this one's going to be probably based off of my talking of it, but we got Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Edition for PS4. The Metascore is 74. I think Tomas gets to go first this time.
No, I had it first last time. It's Kyle.
Oh, then Kyle goes first.
Okay. 74, you said?
74 is for the critics.
Okay. And this is a game you're currently playing.
Game I'm currently playing. Yes.
Oh, man. No, I'm going to say that the users were mad and they gave it a 70.
All right, Tomas.
What was the score, Alan, before?
It's 74.
74, and Kyle's they gave it a 70. Well, I'm gonna say that Alan has bad taste and say that it's down to like a 60 or something. Because Alan's talked good about this, so I'm gonna say he's got bad taste. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, but I am gonna say it's like a 60 or so or something like that because
60.
you just recently started playing it and it's been out for a while. So
Yeah, it's been out for about 7 years, I think. All right, so the Metascore is 74, and I think Kyle gets it because this user score is actually 76.
oh wow, good job, Kyle.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so just slightly better for the user score.
Just slightly better.
And that's what you guessed too, wasn't it?
No, I went lower.
Oh, okay.
As long as you stay under it, you're fine.
Yeah, I thought he just got it right on the money. I was like, oh,
No,
I guessed that for Neo, and I was way off. I thought
okay.
Neo was like one better, but yeah.
All right, another game that we're all playing right now: Final Fantasy VII Remake. The critic score for PS4, I think it's only on PS4, but anyways, for PS4, the critic score is 87. I think Tomas does go first this time.
87?
87.
The thing is that I don't even know how to compare it to what it was, so I'm just gonna go with how much I'm enjoying it, and I'm gonna say it's not quite 87 for me. I'm gonna say it's about an 80 for me. So
All right, Kyle.
Yeah, I think I had to agree with you, Tomas. I think the fans were divided on this one. So I'll go lower and say 73.
all
All right, Tomas, you got it. It
Ah.
was an 82.
I thought about one upping
Whew.
it.
I was wondering if you were going to as well.
But I thought they hated it more, the users.
I have heard some bad things about it, but I hadn't heard enough to make a state. Like I've
Yeah.
only heard one review, and it was a bad review, and I was like, "Well, that's not enough for me to go."
Yeah, you had a good guess. That was a good guess from your part.
Okay, so the next one, that'd be a fun one.
Are we keeping track of score?
I've been keeping track of score. I did miss one. Do you know who got the Elder Scrolls one?
I think that was Kyle.
Yeah, I think I got that one.
Oh no, I did put it in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay. Yep. That's where we're on. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, guys. All right. Cyberpunk 2077 for PS4.
Ooh.
Baby.
All right. The Metascore, if you can believe it, is 57.
Oh.
What is the user score?
It really? Am I going first?
I think it's Tomas this time.
Yeah, I think it's me this time.
Okay.
Well, I really wanted it to be better, but I'm gonna say that the fans maybe hated it even more and drop it as low as a 40.
Okay, 40.
Oh, 40. Okay, I'll go 41. I think you're right, but I got to get this point. 41.
Oh, unfortunately, neither of you are right.
Oh
The
my
final
gosh.
score
Oh,
No
we're both
way.
over it.
36.
That's got to be, that's got
That's
to,
I think that's the lowest one so far.
yeah, that's got to be one of the lowest on the site. That's so low. You rarely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you rarely
That
see it.
that's worse than like Nintendo DS shovelware.
That was a lot of ratings. See, somebody probably review bombed it.
Probably
But anyways, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim on Switch.
on Switch.
Very
Oh,
specific on
yeah.
Switch.
You're up first, I believe, Kyle.
The critic score is 84.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm pretty sure you know you people, and when I say that, I mean the people that have played this game and have bought it multiple times. And I'm talking to both of you.
Oh
I
yeah,
know
no, I
both
have.
of you.
I have.
I don't think I've even owned this game. I'm going to say that you guys are crazy and you give it higher, so it's a 90, especially on the Switch, because now you can play it on the go.
All right, Tomas.
I'm gonna go 95 because I've seen
Oh,
so many people buy this. So I'm gonna go 95. I mean, my fiance's bought it 4 separate times. I've bought it twice. So
oh my gosh, 4.
yeah.
Another no go. This is one of the few exceptions where the critic score matched the user score. It is
Ah,
84,
that's a
both
trick
of them.
question.
All right.
Interesting.
We all know the users never agree with the critics. What's this?
Yeah, I'm sure somebody was like, the frame rate on the Switch is trash.
All right. So we got a next gen in here. Demon Souls only
Oh
on
boy.
PS5, the new one.
Oh, the new one.
Metascore is 94.
What?
I think it's Tomas first this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have heard great things about it, and I personally haven't played it. I'm gonna go with the users. I mean, 94. The users either agreed with it or went slightly lower.
I'm sorry, 92.
Oh, 92. Well, then I'll take 94. So there we go.
All
94.
right, 94. All right, Kyle, what do you think?
92 was the original?
92 is the critic score.
Oof. 85. They're lower. It's lower. It's got to be lower.
Damn, another one. Neither of you got it.
What?
79.
79, man.
Really?
Over 2,500 reviews.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of critics out there.
All right, Kyle, you're up on this one, and you know this game very well. Breath of the Wild.
Okay. Okay.
Legend of Zelda. The critic score is 97.
Dang. It is. I know what Alan would give it. And so Alan purposely went in there and, like you said, review bombed it just to alter this game, this current game we're in. Shoot. It is a mixed bag when it comes to the users, though. So I'm going to say 90.
90?
I'm going to say 90 from the users. Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna say 80 from the users because I feel like there was a little more negative than positive.
You're learning your lesson from this
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Good job, Tomas.
Ah.
87.
Ah. Good job. Yeah. You just played it safe. That's smart.
Last one. You guys are tied up with 3 and 3.
Ooh.
Oh,
So we are on the last. This is the tiebreaker. So
Fun.
Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales
Oh,
on PS5.
on PS. Okay.
The Metascore is 85.
Tomas is up.
okay. 85, huh?
85.
I'm gonna say the critics liked it more, and we're up in the 90s.
Saying the users liked it more?
Yeah, the users liked it more, and we're up in the 90s. Sorry.
So 90.
Yeah, 90.
I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna say 80. 80. They didn't like it as much.
All right. Well, neither of you get it again.
What?
Yes, it is actually 74.
Who's
Who's rating these things?
it can't be that bad. I know why. I know why Spider-Man's rated, because everyone said it's like just DLC. So that's,
Oh,
which is not fair.
yeah, probably.
Anyways, okay, tiebreaker again.
Tiebreaker, yeah, the next tiebreaker. And I went off the ridge and I looked up one for just a tiebreaker, and let's see if you guys can figure it out. Justice League Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut.
Oh,
Zack Snyder's Justice League. There we go. That's more.
Jax. I did do that. Jax Snyder.
It is Zack Snyder. I just call him Jack. Oh man, I'm gonna get sued. All right. The Metascore for this movie is 54
Holy what for the Snyder Cut?
for this Snyder Cut.
Well, you're up first, Kyle.
Okay, well that's because they didn't make it through. That's, they woke up like in one of the epilogues and was really confused.
What
Dang.
happened?
Okay, the users were definitely more friendly on this one, but not by much. So I'm going to say 63.
All right, Tomas.
All right, I'm gonna say the users loved it more, and I'll go 73.
Mm.
No, I don't like odd numbers. I don't like odd numbers. At least ending with them. So 74.
Huh.
Oh man. All right, Tomas. Good job. It was
Ah.
89.
What the
Users
heck?
really liked that movie. 89.
Did the critics watch the wrong movie? That's a huge gap.
That is
It happens a lot. Yeah,
That is
yeah.
a huge gap, though.
I also feel like a lot of people are paid to do that, and I get it. That's their job as critics, but there's probably a little extra cash on the side to say don't like this.
Or they probably like walked into it and exactly like you thought, Kyle. We're like got to the first epilogue and was like, okay, so it's over. Let's leave. And they didn't even finish it.
Probably missed the good 20-30 minutes of
Well,
it.
congratulations, Tomas.
Well
You were the
played.
first winner of critical reviews. I would like to do this again sometime. I think that game's really cool.
That was a fun
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, so we're just gonna keep the games going.
We're not gonna make a games multiverse, right? We're gonna keep them separate.
All right. So on that note, thanks for listening. This has been episode 14.
We hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.